Yeah, we got a great show planned for everybody today. Forgot to push my button, Katie. Oh, I'm having a morning. I want y'all to know, man. I've just talked to y'all for the last 2 minutes and realized that my mic wasn't hot. So, with that being said, yeah, we had a good weekend. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope your Monday's off to a good start. And we're going to have a good show for everybody today. And sorry for the airline infraction, if you will. I did something a minute ago that was kind of funny. I was telling Katie that I went to see Holly, but I said, "Hey, Holly, did I tell you I went to see Katie?" And she said, "Are you drunk over there?" So yeah, so it doesn't surprise me that I didn't push the button. I didn't push the hot button. So, welcome everybody to Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio, June 30th. My gosh, we are halfway through, if y'all can believe that, on the year or close to it. Month wise, we're halfway. So, I don't know if that technically puts us, I don't know what day we're on, if we're on day 184 or whatever we're on, but I'd have to look at my little calendar to see that. But hey, I hope you guys had a great weekend. I did. I was weekend wise, got the Mustang out and took it up. And we tab it on. We got it washed and dried it off and took it for a little ride to an outlet mall, not too far from us here. I don't know, about 15-minute ride. And went up to Old Navy, got some clothes and a few pair of shorts for a trip getting ready to take out west here later on in July. Looking forward to that. Never been out that way. Been out west, Idaho, actually, multiple times doing seminars, but I didn't get to see anything. A lot of times when I go out and do those seminars like that, we've talked a little bit about that before. But the cool thing about it is we're going to go out there and we're going to spend, I don't know, 8 or 9, 10 days, something like that, and just going out and seeing that part of the United States. So looking forward to that. So I thought I better get me some new clothes for that. So I did. When I got me a few pair of shorts and I don't know, might need some long pants. I feel a sneeze coming. So if I abruptly abort this mission for a second, you guys know what's going on. But yeah, I had a great day Saturday. Like I said, we got the old Mustang GT out, took it for a ride, and got to always like to get it out, let its legs stretch a little bit, and did that. And then we came back and chilled out for a few minutes, and then we went out with the dinner with Katie and Alyssa to this hamburger place called Caitlin's 80/20, and used to be called Kaylin's. And thanks, Corey. It's day 81, so we're not quite there, but we're getting there. But had a great burger. It was a ribeye burger. This place is supposedly the home of the cheeseburger, and that's their claim to fame. So I don't know. You guys can Google it and see, but their claim to fame is they're the home of the cheeseburger, and they got some really good food there and burgers. But they have a full menu too. They got some really good meatloaf actually. But I had a ribeye burger, man, and it was good. The only thing I forgot this time, man, was I forgot to get it on a regular bun or a because they serve it on a pretzel bun, and pretzel buns are okay. It's just more bun than I like, and I just forgot that that's what they came on, and my dumbass didn't take time to read it. It's all right. I mean, it is what it is. If that's the worst problem we have, you know what? We're having a really, really, really good day. If that's the worst problem we got to worry about is what kind of bun the burger came on. But yeah, that was really good. And Katie had this grape beer slash what they call that thing? I guess it was a beer. Yeah, and it was like 9% alcohol or something, and it was really good. And it tasted dead up like grape Kool Aid. I mean, a person could get in trouble in a hurry with those things, to say the least. But had that, and then went home and hopped out on the deck and was sitting out there on the deck. And Daniel and Caitlin came over for a little bit, and we watched a few episodes of Last Man Standing, and had a good Saturday night out there. And I don't know, I think we ended up sitting out there to about midnight, I think, for actually went in, but because we had a little bit of rain early on, and it actually took some of the humidity down, so that worked out pretty daggone good for everybody involved. So we sat out there and just had a good evening on the deck is what it amounted to. So uh, that's what Saturday filled the hours up with, and then Sunday. And I'm curious to know what you guys did. Hey, I'm sitting there telling y'all what I did. Let me know what you did this past weekend. To recharge, rejuvenate, or maybe you worked. I don't know. But yesterday I drove up to see Holly in Lexington, and we went to this place called Big Kahuna's Barbecue, and it was really, really good. It was, you would think by the name of the place, it'd be predominantly barbecue, but it wasn't like pork and beef barbecue. I mean, they had that, but it was a lot of they had a full menu of different things that uh, uh, grilled cook, if you will. And man, I had this chicken, and they were chicken thighs, is where the meat came from. Wasn't quite shredded, but cut up, and man, it was good, and it was teriyaki chicken, and this stuff was really really good. Holly recommended the macaroni salad, and so I got some macaroni salad, and I was taking a bite of it. I'll share this story with you because I have not done this in a long time. And I turned, Holly was sitting on my right, and I turned to Holly to say something, and I had my fork loaded with macaroni salad, and I hit it, and it went all over me. And it wasn't that, I mean, it was just a forkful, but whatever was in it, man, went down my shirt, onto my shorts, and I looked like I needed a bib and probably needed one, quite honestly, after that. So, yeah, but it was good. Uh, Good deal. Hope you had a little good luck at the casino. That sounds fun. We were actually talking about that. I think it might have been Saturday night. I don't know, Saturday night or yeah, I don't think it was last night. But Tab and I were talking about the casinos, and hadn't met. We hadn't been for a while. It's been a couple years, I guess, since we've been, and um, sounds like it'd be fun. Sounds like it'd be fun to rock in there and do a little bit of slot pulling. I like roulette is what I like to play. But other than that, that was pretty much my weekend. So I hope you guys had a great weekend. I know we're kicking it off here today. We got a little bit of a late start. Didn't really have to, but the rain was couldn't quite tell. I mean, the rain was dissipating. It was coming toward us, and we knew it wasn't going to be too much, but a little bit. And so I don't know. We had guys come in around 8:15 instead of our normal start time. Heat's not on right now. I mean, it's not nearly like it was last week. I think yesterday our high maxed out at about 89 here. So, and that's where I think we're supposed to be today with some scattered showers. But just north of us got like 2 to 6 inches of rain overnight. Um, Actually, not too far, probably 18, 20 miles north of us. So um, they had quite a bit of rain and some flash flooding going on. So we fortunately missed out on that. Good morning, Seth. Said cornhole tournament. Yeah, sounds like you had a good weekend. Cornhole tournament, deer season prep. Curious, what's that mean? Does that mean like kind of going out and setting up your uh, food stand, or like, I don't know if you get into feeding them or not, or what's deer season prep look like for somebody? Because I don't deer hunt. Landscape install prep, all wrapped up in one. Yay! There you go. So sounds like you had a good weekend. Glad you had a good weekend. But yeah, speaking of deer, is funny. This morning, uh, one of our crews was cutting the grass at my house this morning, and they sent me a video of a deer in this back area, common ground of our subdivision that my backyard backs up to. And I was glad to see that deer. I'm really glad they sent it to me because we've been seeing it off and on. And I mean, we're like in the city. I'm in the city. And I was worried about it. There's a little bit of wooded area behind us and along this creek bank. And I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, we saw Tabitha actually came out to go to work, and there was a deer in the neighbor's front yard. And so she took a picture of it, sent it to me. And then we've seen it a few times, and I hadn't seen it for a little bit. And we saw a couple deers that got hit not too far from us. And I thought, oh man, I hope that wasn't that one we were seeing. And then we hadn't seen it for a while. And then it popped up again today back there. So, yay! Was glad to see it. Glad to see it. So, yeah. So, Seth, I hope you get a big deer this year. Uh, let's see. Seth said that's actually running cameras and mineral sites, fertilized his corn and soybeans that he's got planted. Hope that's going well. Yeah, hope that is going well for you, Seth. And I know it probably was a heck of a time getting that stuff in the ground, to say the least. But let's see. Oh my goodness, Corey, look at you. Corey just sent me a picture of a deer in a residential neighborhood they saw Friday. So how cool is that? I don't know. We're gonna get a headset here out for Daniel. We're gonna talk about deers. Deers. There is no plural. No, I know. And then our knowledge of deer is people that bring deer salami in here for us. So that's so we can't talk deer. We can talk a lot of different things, that might be of interest to you, but one of them's not deer. So you guys that get into that, y'all gonna have to be our experts on deer for sure. So yeah, yeah, Daniel, right? We're not experts on deer.
I wouldn't consider that.
I wouldn't even consider myself a novice on deer. I mean, if I'm deer hunting, I'm gonna go Kroger probably and see what they got. So, anyway, probably can't go to Kroger and buy deer anyway.
Probably.
There's a game place you went somewhere that had game
I went to a
meat.
place in Lexington. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little outside of Lexington, but it had some interesting meats. Can't remember what it was called, but I would recommend it if I ever remembered it.
Anything but cows.
Yeah.
It's called anything but cows.
Yeah. I think I had a camel. Is what I had there.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah, it was good. I think it was a camel burger.
Huh. That's interesting. I've heard of camel toes before that people have to get fixed. Like,
I think the best thing that I've had was actually, you were talking about it earlier, in Montana when we had our trip. It was gosh, which one was it? I think it was a elk steak. I think.
oh my God, it's crazy that you just said that. Seth says he's going elk hunting in September
Yeah.
out there. And he said if he gets one, he'll send us a
That'd be
piece.
cool. He's going to Colorado, isn't he? I think he said.
I don't know. He'll let us know.
I thought he said that. I might be
Let's
confused.
see. I can go back in his, he'll text us real quick. I can go back in his text and see. But yeah, he was somewhere out there. I think you're right. It might have been Colorado.
Yeah.
But that'd be a big thing to go hunting. You talk about
Yeah.
a business,
That and
a business model out there. I'm sure there's a lot of that.
oh yeah.
You know?
I mean, there's people that go real deep into like
Yeah, Colorado.
into like setting it up, going like into the wilderness, setting up their stay basically, and then if they get it, they got to come all the way back out with it. It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be fun and cool to do for sure. I wouldn't be able to probably do much in regards to the finding of the animal, but I wouldn't mind just going along and
Being part of the
being
hunt.
part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could definitely stay quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. Daniel would be your man for that, to say the least. But Corey's, oh my God, Katie said, come here, Katie. Corey, some banana nut bread that he
nice.
made and sold out of at the farmer's market. It looks really, really good. Look at that, Daniel.
Is banana nut bread, Corey?
That was his weekend.
What? So I've had it before. What's the? Is that the stuff that Robin makes sometimes? Is banana?
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking there was something else, but if that's it, then yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Corey, I can't wait to try yours if you've really coming to the expo, man. when you're welcome to come to the house, man. We'll buy all the things. We'll wash, clean up. Well, you won't have to do anything but put your expertise together and on it and make us a little something. So, yeah, with the Daniel's a great dishwasher,
Yeah.
by the way. I'm a good dishwasher. So, yeah, man, we'll talk to you and wash dishes as you uh, make it whatever it is you want to make if you come this way. So, dang on, Seth is going to get an elk maybe. So we'll have
Yeah.
elk steak and some kind of dessert.
Sounds pretty good.
Damn, how could you possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
That's the real question. But no, it's great. Hopefully, you guys are into something good today, something fun today. I know we're out there trying to get some mowing done today in between the showers. Looks like hopefully we're going to cross our fingers. We got a pretty good little gap going on right now in the weather. Like I said, we had a little bit of rain this morning, but it wasn't even a tenth. But it looked a lot heavier coming, and Bam told us it was going to be dissipating, but still, it was worth the little bit of delay that our delay we went on, you know, to just make sure rather than getting everybody here and not being able to do nothing with them for an hour and a half or hour and 15 minutes. So it all worked out pretty good, I think. So far, so good. We'll keep our fingers crossed on the weather side of it. And then also, we're getting some lawns treated today. And other than that, it looks like our weather the next couple days is just going to be kind of some scattered rain. If you get the rain, it's going to be heavy. If not, it's not going to be too hot like last week. So we're not having to worry about heat index problems or those kind of things, which makes it nice because last week was hot for a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So hopefully that's settled down for you guys as well. I think yesterday our high was 89, so it was our first day, and I think they said 8 days or 9 days that we were below 90, and
Wow.
so um, yeah. And then tomorrow's supposed to be about the same, and then get a little bit warmer but less humid. They were saying so. We'll see how that pans out. So as we lead into July 4th weekend, I'm
Yeah.
sure fuel will be going up in cost. So
Yeah.
get your fuel.
True.
Get as much if you don't have it on site. Get your stuff filled up. The sooner the better. And I know some of you guys are getting fuel daily, like we do. I mean, or almost anyway. And so get it early because the fuel's going to go up for 4th of July. It always does. And ours bumped up to like 319, but then it was back down to 301 or something at the end of last week, which
Yeah.
was
I think it was at 320 this morning, wasn't it?
wasn't I didn't
It,
see this morning.
I think.
So it's back up again.
Passing it, I kind of think I saw that, but it could have been a
Yeah.
312. I don't know. I think I saw a 2 somewhere in there.
Probably is. I mean, it's 4th of July week, so it's
Yeah.
time to start gouging people, you
Yeah.
know.
How it
So,
goes.
but we shouldn't say that. That's not fair to the oil industry. But it sure is funny how around holidays, and they say it's supply and demand, right? But simple economics. Well, how about the simple economics of running your business the same way, whether it's lawn and landscaping or whatever it is? We're going to talk about that side of it here. We'll be right back with more Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio. Your industry, your station. Don't you go anywhere. As we pop on into our show today and want to talk about a few things, before we get into that, I want to give Aaron a shout out on a great show this morning, and Eric and Jennifer Jones. Now we can call him Jones, right?
Yep. It's
Yeah.
official.
It's official now. They got married Saturday, and they were talking about that a little bit on their show and talking about relationship and business too. But I mean, it was really cool, listening to them talk about how happy they are, and I'm really happy for them, and yeah, just happy for them. So. And Daniel's had a great show as always. And Daniel, just to touch on something, you were talking about olive oil. Part of what you were talking about the utilization of olive oil,
Yeah.
and so a good quality olive oil. I know I generally buy what I think is a good quality.
Yeah.
olive oil, but I didn't realize they had not so good quality olive oil.
Just like anything, you have good quality coffee, you have good quality tea, you have good quality
So what are they putting
grapeseed.
in with the
You know,
olive oil in a
I really have to look deeper into it because I did look into it at one point. But one of the actual things to think about is um, you want to keep it, you want it to be stored in a container that is not see through, not clear. I'm pretty sure is one
really
of the things. I think you want it dark because the light can actually mess
degrade
with
the
it.
product?
Yes. And then you want to keep it in a dark spot, especially if it's not in a dark container, I think is another thing. So, and then if you keep like how long are you keeping your olive oil and just in general your products, but like the as it gets older, of course, it's not going to be as now if it's within the range,
Yeah.
that's fine, but like
And I heard you say something too that you use real butter, not margarine.
yeah, for sure.
You know,
Yeah.
I know that's something that mom had switched to a long, long time ago.
Yeah, for sure.
That you're
Yeah.
better off, even though it's.
Might be higher calorie, but you're
I
not putting all the other things in with it.
watched a thing on margarine one time, and this was at a expo kind of thing, and they were talking about the guy was cooking. It was cookware is what they were selling. Okay. And he was doing one of those demo kind of things. But he was talking about how margarine's not good to cook with.
Hmm.
And he took some margarine and he just set it on the side of, on him, took a spatula and some margarine on the side. And when he got done, I mean, that margarine had done nothing as far as dissolved down.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the point he was making, but it was something with, don't use margarine,
Yeah.
kind of thing in that cookware thing. I don't know if it had anything at all to do with their cookware or not, but you had a really good show on that today. Seth says he's going to go back and listen to your show on that. Olive oil is the only thing that they cook with,
Yeah, that's
and
a good
butter.
option. Butter,
So
avocado oil is something we use a lot, and that's generally considered a pretty good option. So, whatever you use, just make sure you know why you're using it. That's the biggest thing.
good deal, good deal. So um, go back and check that out, Seth. So he's going to check it out. Dane will have it. He'll have them uploaded here shortly after my show. He gets them up right away. So.
Yep.
Um, but anyways, hey, something I wanted to talk a little bit about today was disease, fungus, and bagworms in yards and with your business. How do you address it with your company, your customers, and your company? Uh, and I know it can be different. Um, whether you're in the mowing business, fert and weed business, but let's just say you're a mow contractor out there, right? And you're seeing brown spots in yards. Are you reaching out to your customer about that and, letting them know, or do you just let it go? And certainly from a fert and weed standpoint, it goes back to educating your clients, you know? Um, so we've seen a lot of bagworms up here in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm curious, what about some of you guys in other parts of the country or even other parts of Kentucky? Have y'all seen the influx of bagworms? I know last Monday we saw an arb. Katie and I, she went with me for my eye appointment, Daniel, and we saw some arborvitaes that had very small. They were, very small bagworms, and they were really working on these arbs,
Hmm.
to say the least. But anyways, let's see. Mike says, question: is it worth it for a small operation, say a one truck, to have 1 or 2 days mowing list? That would make the use rates low for the overhead that comes with it. I'm just curious on your thoughts. I'm really considering dropping mowing altogether next year. First of all, Mike, that is an absolute great question. And I would love for you to send it to where, Daniel? Send it to the.
Profit circle.
Yeah,
That's a good question.
that is really a good question. Like, and sure, the short answer to that is Yes, it will make sense for you to have 1 or 2 days of mowing uh, with the equipment. Um, even and then uh, what's a good word? Diversify into
Right.
other services the rest of the week and still justify the cost of the equipment to do the mowing that's going to allow you the opportunity then to get in front of the customers for that reoccurring landscape work, whether it's
Right.
trimming, mulching, annuals, leaves,
Spray.
spray, whatever it is after that.
I think a cool thing that we showed too on our webinar we did last month, which has gotten quite a few views um, on all the spots it's been in. So that's really cool that people are, watching it and hopefully taking a lot of that information in. But something cool about our product is that you can do that within that product and say, okay, well, what is my cost going to have to be if my use rates do go
Yeah, you
to half or whatever?
Yeah, it's simple input. You
Yeah.
just change your use rates, and when you change your use rates, that automatically goes down and changes your indirect costs, fuel, maintenance, and repairs, because all that's based on hours of use. So um, now it increases the longevity of how many years you're going to amortize that cost out because you're not putting the hours on it. So then it gets into financing and that whole thing. So yeah, check that out, but put that question into the profit circle as well, because
That'll be our,
that's a conversation.
yeah.
There's a lot of things that get involved in that other than just yes, it makes sense, or no, it doesn't make sense. You all know me. I like to give you an answer of why.
Right.
You know, why things change, not just, oh yeah, do it, don't worry about it. Yeah, that's the short answer. Yeah, it will make sense and does make sense, to do that. So yeah, that'll be an awesome video response that we'll put in there. So uh, Seth said his answer to you, Mike, is not yes, Mike, but hell yes, Mike. So absolutely, absolutely. That's good Turfs Up Radio friendship right there. Guy trying to help you out. So
Yeah.
um, absolutely. So, but yeah, that makes really good sense. And hey, we'll talk more about that. Speaking of talking more about things, and we're going to get into this side that what we talked about here just a second ago. But Darren actually on his show after me today, Daniel, he's going to talk about where landscapers go for fresh perspective
Mm.
and profit. So not 100% sure what road he's going down with that, but there's a lot of different ways, to go about that. But so he's going to be on right after me today at 11. But getting back to what we were talking about is disease, fungus, and bagworms, or insects in general, in lawns, grubworms, that time of the year. Those all offer up opportunities. And certainly, I feel pretty confident that with us going into July, and we're going to be promoting that here at Wayne's Lawn Service, and that'll be on our list for the profit circle as well. Things to be thinking about in July, because one thing for sure, it's probably going to get hot again, no doubt about that. Actually, we know by the weekend it's going to be in the mid 90s here again. So the reality of that is we're probably going to start seeing some additional brown patch, and we're going to have disease and fungus problems. And so now you guys that aren't licensed to treat those, absolutely don't treat them, but hook up with somebody so you can give your customers better service. Even if you're the liaison or the go-between, you know, uh, there's value in that for your customers, and there can be certain amount of profit dollars there for you hooking your customer up with somebody that that can help them. And the good thing about finding a subcontractor, and I got something to talk about that story too. But the good thing about finding somebody that you trust is that, if you can work with somebody that's predominantly what they do, you don't have to worry about them coming back and, doing something else for your customer. And now let me say this too. We treat lawns for several of our competitors here in Louisville, and we're full service, but our association with them and our partnership with our competitors is a spray only situation. If their customers ask us about anything else, we refer them back to the uh, contractor. Hey, you might want to check with them. Hey, if Daniel, for an example, is the guy we're working for in his business, I'll say, give Daniel a call. Think they do that. And if not, we'll be happy to help you. But what I know is we know what they do and what they don't do. So uh, don't miss out on that opportunity when it comes to insecticides, fungicides, disease issues on lawns, because the reality is it's only helping you out. If they can keep that lawn, let's say, well, hey, Wayne, I'm mowing and that's all I want to do. Well, that's fine, but still have a connection with that. And speaking of subcontractors, my goodness, I want to give you an update on my buddy Chris that we talked about the other day and let you know where that's at. But he gave me a note and he said he didn't mind me sharing this. His administrative assistant had sent out a reminder to the person that owed them this money. And this is the note that they got back. And I don't want this to be like a bedtime story, but he basically got a message back, and I'm looking at this, and it says, "Hey, I left a message for Chris yesterday." Now, keep in mind, and I'm not going to bring up who this is, but certainly keep in mind that these guys, Chris and the person that this is happening with, and I'm not going to bring his name up because that's not fair because he's not here to defend it. They've been friends / business associates for 30 plus years. I mean, we all kind of got started about the same time. So I can't imagine this happening to Chris by this guy. I can't imagine it, but I can imagine it. Does that make sense, Daniel? I mean, yeah. This guy's, I can imagine it. Okay. But anyway, here was his reaction to them asking for their money again the other day. I left a message for Chris yesterday, but let me make it clear, and clear's in bold, all caps. You can add whatever you want, 3% bullshit, and I'm not paying it. I don't see any of you paying attorney fees. Don't write me some song and dance about it. You've been paid over $120,000 from December 24th to now. You should have paid for your materials and gas with that. Now, let's stop there for a second. It's not his job to tell Chris where to spend his money.
Yeah.
Right?
It's irrelevant how much.
It's irrelevant how much you've paid him. I don't care if you paid him. Yeah, that's whether you've gotten $120,000, $100,000, or $400.
Right.
It's irrelevant. The relevancy to this is he did the work. He should be paid, regardless of the amount. If you've paid me $120K already, what that really means is you've paid me $120K for work I did already.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It's not a favor to pay someone for doing what they did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably the best way of putting it, Daniel. You're not doing him a favor by saying, well, I paid you 120, it ought to be good enough. Well, not if you owe me 160. I mean, these can be hundreds or thousands. It doesn't matter. It's all based on company size. It doesn't matter. I agree, John. I think the friendship should be over, but we got a little further to go with this. He said, don't care how you operate, and he filled in the name of who sent this, or pay your bills. Like I told Chris, and I'm not going to say the name of the location, not that it would matter, but I want to protect the other party here that's not here to defend themselves. That account rides out with me to the end. Check your grill for the other payment, paid in full. I don't want to hear from you again. Chris has always been told he would be paid when we're paid, as he is a sub of a sub. If you don't want to work for us in 2026, don't. But you will be continued to be paid once we get paid. And then he put his name, pissed off, in his last name. Now, 30 plus years of being a friend or knowing this guy and friendship, all right, if you will, some, I'm sure, you know. Now, the first thing I asked Chris when he was talking to me about it, I said, man, do y'all got a contract in place? And Chris like, no, not with him. You know, I mean, because Chris is like we are, Daniel, on that. Other than that, he's got shit in writing.
Right.
You know, I mean, he said, no, I do not have a contract written with him, man. I just, same way, and Chris and I were joking about this, same way that Chris and I don't have a written contract. And I share that with you guys because that's what we both learned in this, that moving forward, we will, you know, because if something would happen to Chris or something would happen to me, let's take it to our level because Chris does quite a bit of work as well for us. You know, we need to have something in writing that has a clear path of understanding. And I think if they had that in this case, I don't know that this would solve the problem. But, you know, to tell him, hey, here's one of the jobs that I owe you on, and he did. He gave him 16,000. But he says the rest you're riding out, you know, I still don't think that's his decision to decide who's riding what out. And, you know, let's see what we got here from you guys. Let's see. John said certainly the friendship is probably over, you know, but you know, I don't, in talking to Chris about it the other day, John, this is crazy. I don't think he's there. With all due respect to Chris, I don't think he's there. He's like, man, I'm just going to, you know, wait a couple weeks, make sure the check clears that I got, then reach out to him and say, man, we just need to sit down and talk about this.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, I think that's a really great approach, honestly, because I mean, what else can you do? What
Yeah.
else are you going to be able to do? I mean, you don't, like you said, you can't take any legal, or it'd be hard to take the legal action because you don't have anything written. So that's tough to take that approach if you even wanted to. But you can either be mad and not talk and things can fester and get worse, or you can just sit down and talk and things can get worse or they can get better.
Yeah.
There's no getting better when people, you know, typically when the problem's not solved.
Yeah, right. That's right. I mean, getting frustrated, getting mad, going to beat somebody up. Corey jokingly says riding at dawn is what's going to happen. He said, I'm fighting somebody that owes me $300.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all relevant.
It's all the,
you know,
trying to get what, you know,
you earned it. It goes back to what we talk about, right, Daniel? You earned it. You deserve it. Go get it.
Yeah.
You know, and so I hope it gets worked out. If somebody would ever give me the ultimatum of don't want to work for us, then don't, then I'd say, good, we're not. You know, Chris has got the equipment and the ability and the manpower to go out and work for anybody he wants to. I mean,
yeah,
you know, with snow, we kind of help each other out within areas of the city, like a lot of you guys listening to us do. You know, I don't want to drive 14 miles to Chris's end of Jefferson County where he's at to do a job when he's there, and we could help him with something over here where we're at. You know,
yep.
Neither one of us got the drive time. We both give the same type of exceptional service. And at the end of the day, everybody's happy. You know, that's the reality of it. But, you know, that was a pretty nasty note to be sent especially, don't call me again and I really don't see you getting an attorney. Well, maybe you don't think of it because your friendship, but I'm going to tell you, somebody, your friends, I'm like John, Daniel, somebody owes you 40K. Friendship left a minute ago, you know?
Especially, well, it's not necessarily even the owing, it's how you're treating that person that you owe the money to
Right.
is the part that ends the friendship. You need to, if you're the person that owes the money, you need to be more, I don't know if this is the right word, sensitive about it, right? Like try to at least not try to be accommodating. Do what you can do,
Well,
and don't take offense when somebody wants something that they're owed when you're the one that owes it. Like do be a better
yeah, I never
communicator
once
and
got
own
mad at somebody that I owed money to.
right.
I was happy that they would work with me and give me an opportunity to get it called up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like this. And that Fred just sent that exact text in. He says, this has happened before, maybe not to this extent or as far as much money, but it sounds like it's business as usual between both parties, you know, over the years. I bet the party with the power is struggling right now. And I do too. Chris, Fred, it's funny to mention that because Chris actually brought that up the other day. He said, it almost makes me feel like he probably already did get paid on it and maybe business is down otherwise. And he used that for whatever he used it for.
Yeah.
And now he's trying to get the others caught up.
Yeah.
And I could see that. Yeah, Fred, that's a very, very good point. I could see that exactly being the case, that it's really not a case of not getting paid. It's a case of already been paid and don't have the funds, to take care of it. So I hope, and the reason I even share this story today for everybody is, number one is make sure that you're protected as a subcontractor from a payment standpoint. That's number one. You're going to provide the service, you're going to do a good job, but make sure you've got something in writing, you know. And here we are. That's here goes Wayne, the pot calling the kettle black, because Chris and I, we've never, like I said, I mean, Chris is the only person that's ever actually done a seminar for me in another state. We trust each other that much. I mean, you know, uh, but the reality of it is this as well. You know, regardless how long you know somebody, like they've known each other for 30 plus years, you know, they're putting a value, or the other party is putting a value on that friendship, and just hate to see it happen that way. So, and Chris is a very low key kind of guy. He's high strung when he gets rolling, but he's being really, really fair in this situation. Let me say that.
Yeah.
Chris would go forever. Is that a fair way to describe Chris?
Yeah, he has a lot of patience, maybe, and maybe some people wouldn't call it that, but he has a lot of like go with the flow, yeah, I guess, more than
Yeah,
patience, and then kind of hit that wall, and then it's like, all right, we're on now.
we're on now. Yeah, that's it. But just be careful with. It's a great story to talk about right now because we're not rolling directly into snow season, but you're going to start getting those phone calls from all these national companies that have all these accounts and say, "Hey, we're looking for a snow contractor in your area."
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I think this even is a touch on like working for family and friends too. Like in this situation, it's a different situation than what you would typically hear, like doing a job for a family or friend, that
right?
but in the same sense it's the same because you're still putting that relationship on the line.
Yeah,
So, I mean, even Tom came in this morning talking about somebody who just recommended another person and
yeah. Our buddy that lives, he's actually one of our snow subs,
yeah.
but he's got a carpet cleaning business here right behind us, and he was coming in talking about a guy that got him on a deck
Yeah.
What kind of it was? What kind of
Not
Pyrex
Pyrex.
or
No, that's the
that's the cooking stuff.
yeah.
But a Trex
Yeah.
Trex deck, and the guy used evidently didn't build it right, didn't do it right. The deck literally just got done a month or so ago, and it's already having some issues. And so Tom said, man, he called his cousin who referred this guy, and he said, I've lost a cousin out of the deal too. And I'm like, damn, really? You know, and I think that was a little excessive. I mean, that
Definitely the heat of the moment kind of thing, but either way, like that's how it can go, even if you're not the one doing the work. Like friends and family and business is a hard thing
don't
to
mix.
do it. So,
Yeah,
I mean, not to say that you can't work for friends and family or with them or whatever, but certainly you have to, be smart about it and think as if it's worth it.
that'll be one that maybe we'll talk about that Wednesday. That'll
Yep.
be our Wednesday show. It's funny. I come up with a lot of my show discussions about 30 minutes before my show. Anyway, I look and see what's hot and happening out there on social media land or something that happens around here, or
Yeah.
like this. But that is it. Friends working for friends and family. You always got to be careful with that. And then this situation is just a perfect example of that. And who knows? Like Chris said, he'd be willing to, if he just said, "Hey, man, I'll give you 5,000 a month." Chris said the money's already worth nothing anyway. Now,
Yeah, it's lost the
six
value.
months in, the value's gone of the profit dollars on it. You know, so uh, anyways, let's take a short break before we come back and wrap it up and move on down the road with Landscape Hero here shortly. So we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio. Welcome back to Profit Time as we wrap it up today on this June 30th, Monday. I hope Monday, your Monday, you Monday. I hope your Monday progresses along very well. Maybe it didn't get started off great, and maybe it did. But regardless, hey, keep it straight, keep it between the lines. I appreciate you guys and all your input as always. And the reality of it is simply this. You know, my show without you guys is zero. I need your all's input like we get. I appreciate that. Share it and be sure to share Turfs Up Radio around all your social medias because we are here for a great opportunity and great time to share ideas and businesses strategies with everybody. Speaking of business strategies, tonight at 7 p.m. we got our monthly Zoom meeting in the Profit Circle. Be sure to join us. Looking forward to that. And it's just our monthly follow up where we just everybody gets together and talks about what's happened during the month. And so be sure to join us. You guys in the Profit Circle, you know how to get there. Daniel sent out a reminder link on that just a few minutes ago. Stay tuned all day long to Darren Grinner coming up next here on Turfs Up Radio. He's going to talk about landscapers and keeping a fresh perspective on profits. How much more exciting could that get? I'm looking forward to that, Darren. So hang tight in that. And we will certainly see you guys on Wednesday. And remember, profit is not a dirty word.